What is user experience design? If you ask this term to 50 people, you will get 50 different answers, guaranteed. How are we going to approach this thing? Let's start with user. A user, in this case, is a human being. A human being has 5 senses: seeing, smelling, touching, hearing, tasting. We have to keep this one in our minds, because we will explain what interaction is with experiences, how we create experiences. What else a human being has? Abilities, functionality-wise. A human being also has emotions. Let's set this aside. A human being also interacts with objects, has opinions. A human being has decisions based on his or her experiences. Let's talk about experience. If somebody asks you, if you buy a TV or a laptop or a camera, if somebody asks you, what do you think about this device? You always answer with your opinions. And at the end, you finish with, I like it, I didn't like it, I got frustrated. You talk about some sort of emotions at the end. Let's keep this in mind. If your friend goes to an event or talks about the new camera, talks about the new computer, talks about new software, while listening to somebody else's experiences, you create opinions. Those opinions create indirect experiences. If you summarize this one, the word experience has 2 types: direct experience or indirect experience. Let's go a little bit further. What creates experience? What is experience? Because overall, if we want to be a UX designer, user experience designer, whatever we are going to design is going to create experiences. Let's formalize what experience is. Actions. Circling back to 5 senses we have. If you don't see it, if you don't touch it, if you don't take an action, nothing happens. No experience happens. So let's start with this action. 5 senses, we don't use our 5 senses. There is no input, there is no action. But when there is an action, when you see something, when you hear something, you immediately react. Action triggers reaction. What does that mean? If you turn on a TV, clicking on the turn on button, TV turns on. If you turn on light switches, lights turn on. So that means you are directly taking an action. We have a stove. We turn on the stove and stove is hot. If we don't take an action by touching it, nothing happens. We start with an action, we touch it, and immediately we show reaction. Actions triggers reactions if you are alive. If you are dead, oh well. You don't have any experience. Actions triggers reactions. Let's multiply this. Action, reaction, it triggers interactions. You directly interact with it or indirectly interact with it. We talk about it. You talk to your friend about any event or any device, any toys, any application. You just start having a conversation. Action, reaction, that's an interaction. You're interacting with your friend, or you are, by using your phone, your iPad, your computer, that's an action reaction, and it just triggers an interaction. So you interact with your computer, you interact with your iPad, you interact with your phone. Let's summarize it. Action, reaction, interaction. All these interactions creates opinions, which means experiences. So action, reaction, interaction, and experience. We find out experience. Perfect. Should we stop? No. The most important part over here is all these experiences become emotions. Let me give you an example. You went to Disneyland. You had so much fun. You used the sliders. You ate over there. You see the characters. You see everything. 10 years later, if somebody asks you, how was your Disney trip experience? Your answer is going to be, oh, I love it. It was the most beautiful day. It was the happiest time I have. You're not going to mention about a device, a feature, or pool, or even the rooms. At the end of the day, you are going to finish it with your opinions and emotions. So let's summarize it. Experience starts with an action. Actions trigger reactions. Action, reaction become interaction. Interactions create opinions, which means experiences. Experience is described by emotions. Now, we solved the problem. Let's talk about design. Design is a verb and a noun. Design could be the end product, or design could be certain activities done by a plan. Or design could be creating, designing, creating, manufacturing, doing activities by a plan. Let's talk about a little bit more about design. On one side, think about art. Another side is science. Art is personal. On the other side, there is science. There are constraints. There are laws from nature. It's universal. Design has both of it. Now, I don't want to get into UI, UX. When you talk about design, your design is not an art. If we are designing for users, human beings, we should have these two concepts in our designs. Your design has art aspects and science aspects. Later on, when we start designing applications, solutions, we are going to use these concepts. So design has art and science in it. Science as in technology. Art is personal. Art is emotional. You can change it however you want. There's no constraints for an artist. You are not an artist. You are a user experience designer. Science is universal. There are constraints. You cannot change it. There's no emotions in it. We have to mix these two concepts in our designs when we are creating a solution. If I summarize what user experience design is, it is the outcome of progressive decisions and trade-offs based on constraints. The constraints part coming from injecting technology. Iterations coming from user part of it. Over here, we can segue to what user-centered design is. We can ask this question. You could say, hey, we put the users in the center, we ask them, we collect the data, and then we make decisions based on their input. You are creating a tool, a design, a solution. You are solving a problem for your users. However, the business side of it is also important. You have to make money. One, to be able to do that, you have to look at the market. You have to look at your competitors. You have to position your products. Another thing, innovation. If you listen to your customers and react to them immediately, directly, or incorporate all your user inputs into your product, you will never innovate. To be able to innovate, you need to inject technology and redefine the problem. Be creative. When I'm mentoring or teaching, I always say, collect the dots and connect the dots. Maybe I'm gonna have another video about what is collect the dots and connect the dots is. But at this point, think about the business side of it. Maybe some of you heard about Henry Ford's quote. He says, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Whether he said this one or not, this is the core of innovation. In another video, I'm going to formulate innovation by examples. When we talk about design, design has a lifespan. Technology changes the experience. Technology has a direct effect on experience. That's another reason that we need to understand the technology and utilize it in our designs. Please benchmark your knowledge. In the next video, I'm going to review bootcamps, self-learning, and online UX courses. Happy learnings.